This video is sponsored by Supply Handlers. We just saw Kylian Mbappé go in France's World Cup opener against Senegal, and it's quite clear that this is his stage. It doesn't matter if he's in the group of death or if he's in the final. When it comes to this competition, the man always puts on a show. That inspired us to make a video about players who look, seem and feel different in one particular competition. Let's talk about it. These are 12 top players and their favourite competition.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal 90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. The deal runs only until the end of May. Goal 90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal 90 Shop.
Of course, we'll start with Kylian Mbappé. This is his 3rd World Cup campaign and he has already established himself as a legend of the competition. In his first campaign, he won the trophy and became the first teenager to score in the final since Pelé. In his second campaign, he won the Golden Boot and became the first player to score a hat-trick in the World Cup final since Jeff Hurst in 1966. By doing so, he also became the player to score the most goals in World Cup finals. He has now started his 3rd campaign by scoring 2 goals in what was supposed to be a super tough game. That brace made him France's all-time record top scorer, and it also means that he now needs just 3 more goals to become the all-time top scorer in World Cup history. With how he's going, you really would not put it past Mbappé to reach another final, win another Golden Boot, and possibly win another trophy. You can say all you want about him in La Liga, you can mock him for still not having won the UEFA Champions League. But when it comes to the FIFA World Cup, you just can never doubt Mbappé. This is his stage, his favourite competition. As for Cristiano Ronaldo, it's obvious that his favourite competition is the UEFA Champions League. In addition to having won the competition 5 times, Ronaldo holds several different records over there. He's the competition's all-time record goal scorer and top assist provider. And despite having not played a Champions League game in 4 years, he still holds the record for most games won in the competition's history. He's also the player who has finished as top scorer in most seasons, and he still holds the record for most goals in a single season of the Champions League. In fact, he's 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the rankings. Till today, Ronaldo is mocked for winning just 2 La Liga titles in 9 years. He's also mocked for his poor performances at the World Cup and having not scored a goal in the knockout rounds of the competition, but the Champions League was just always his stage. He came alive during those Tuesday and Wednesday nights and almost always puts up memorable performances. There's a reason he's called Mr. Champions League. But the way Cristiano holds almost all the records in the Champions League is the same way Lionel Messi holds almost all the records in La Liga. The Argentine just made the league look too easy. He was the reason Barcelona absolutely dominated the league in the 2000s and 2010s, and it wasn't very surprising to see them struggle in the immediate aftermath of his departure. He's the league's all-time top scorer, and by some distance too. He's also the top assist provider of all time and holds the record for most wins, most goals in a single season, most goals in a calendar year, most games scored in, most opponents scored against, longest scoring streak, most hat-tricks and braces in history, and on and on. The man's legacy in this competition is simply untouchable. He won 10 La Liga titles in 17 years in the league. To be fair, his record in the World Cup is pretty good too, and his UEFA Champions League legacy is not bad either, but La Liga was surely his favourite competition. Now, what about Neymar? His favourite competition was definitely Ligue 1. People say that he made a wrong decision by moving to PSG in 2017, and while that might be right, there was simply no competition he fared better in than the French Ligue 1. It is the league where he enjoyed the most success, and the only league where he was named Player of the Season. Would his career have looked much better if he had remained at Barcelona for a few more years? Perhaps. But the statistics and numbers show that Neymar's favourite competition was Ligue 1. Let's now talk about Erling Haaland. His favourite competition is quite obviously the Premier League. He's just at his first ever World Cup, has never played in the Euros, and has infamously struggled in the latter parts of the Champions League. But the Premier League? He has absolutely enjoyed his time there. He has been there just 4 seasons, but he already has 100 goals, 2 titles, 3 Golden Boots, 1 Player of the Season award, 1 European Golden Shoe, and a truckload of records to his name. If he doubles the time he has already spent at the league, he could really go down as the greatest striker the Premier League has ever seen. People dared to doubt him before he moved to the Premier League. They said he would struggle and be found out in England, but instead he seemed to turn the English top flight into a farmers' league. Since we're talking about world-class strikers, let's also talk about Harry Kane and Robert Lewandowski. Their favourite competition is surely the Bundesliga. Yeah, Kane has scored more goals in the Premier League, but it is the Bundesliga that has been kindest to him. It gave him his first trophy, and in just 3 seasons has already given him as many golden boots as he won in his Premier League career. Kane already holds the record for most goals in a debut Bundesliga season and most goals in the first half of a season, but you can see him breaking even more records before he leaves the league. But for now, the king of that league is still Lewandowski. In Bundesliga history, Lewandowski holds the record for most goals in a season, most goals scored away from home, most goals in a calendar year, most goals in a game by a substitute, most goals by a foreigner, fastest hat-trick, and on and on. Lewandowski won the Bundesliga 8 times, the Golden Boot 7 times, was named Player of the Season twice, and was named in the Team of the Season 9 times. The Polish legend played in La Liga, the Champions League, the Euros, and the World Cup, but there was simply no competition where he enjoyed as much success as the German Bundesliga. Up next is Romelu Lukaku. His favourite competition is the Italian Serie A, and we say so because he just cannot stop going back there. He first moved there in 2019 when he signed for Inter Milan, but he left to move to England in 2021. He, however, quickly returned to Italy with Inter Milan in 2022, moved to AS Roma in 2023, before then joining Napoli in 2024. He has won the Scudetto with 2 different teams and has been named Serie A MVP once. There's no other competition where the Belgian marksman has enjoyed this much success. And it's a similar love story between Alvaro Morata and the Euros. Everywhere else he's an ordinary striker, but in the Euros he's something of an icon. He has won the trophy and has scored the 3rd most goals in the competition's history. He also had the privilege of captaining a side to victory, and he is one of a handful of players to have won the Euros at the junior and senior levels. Now, Ousmane Dembele's favourite competition has turned out to be the UEFA Champions League in recent years. He sits out league games in order to keep himself fresh for the Champions League, and over the last 2 years he has always turned up for PSG in the biggest moments in that competition. He has won the Champions League twice now, has been named Player of the Season once, and has contributed to 3 goals in 2 finals. Dembele's World Cup record is still very shabby. He never really enjoyed his time in La Liga, and his Euros pedigree is pretty non-existent. But the Champions League, he's slowly writing his name into history in that competition. Next up is Sadio Mane. His favourite competition is easily the AFCON. He loves that stage. He has featured in 6 tournaments, played in 3 finals, been named Player of the Tournament twice, and has scored the 5th most goals in the history of the competition. Mane won the Premier League, the UEFA Champions League, the Bundesliga, the Saudi Pro League, and everything else. But whenever he turned up at the AFCON, he looked like a completely different player. He absolutely loves that stage. Let's now wrap this video up with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. His favourite competition is the Europa League. He never actually won the competition, but he played there so often and scored so many goals. In fact, he holds the record for most goals in the history of the Europa League proper, having featured in the competition with 5 different clubs. There is simply no other competition Aubameyang has enjoyed playing in more than the UEFA Europa League. Anyway, it is now time to hear from you guys. Do you agree with our list? Who's your favourite player, and what would you say is his favourite competition ever? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.